Well, good afternoon, everybody, and thank you for joining us on our second annual InfoComm virtual tour. I am proud to present Zach and Brad from Mackie. Gentlemen, the floor is yours.
Great. Hi, everyone. I'm Zach Salpeter, National Sales Manager at Mackie, and we're here with the music people on the line, one of our authorized distributors for Mackie, very proudly. And we're happy to be presenting with Brad, our product specialist, some new products that we have to show everyone. So keep in mind, these products are all built. They're on the water. So as soon as they can move through the congested ports that you all may know about watching the news, we'll get them out to the stores. So Music People has them on order with us. So they should be in transit shortly. So before we start, I just want to remind everyone that Mackie has creator gear, and I happen to be using one of our microphones on this call. It's a dynamic mic EM89D, comes with an XLR cable, and I use a little Pro Effects 6 V3 USB mixer as my preamp and interface for the microphone, so I could put it into the computer and talk to everybody. It even has onboard effects, so I could demo them and kind of pretend like I'm on a podcast right now. And that's what they sound like. So with that, I'll introduce Brad Gagne to take you through our new product selections.
Wonderful. Thank you, Zach. I really appreciate that. And thank you to the music people for all that you do for us. We're really excited about our partnership and looking forward to seeing what the future holds for us. We got a lot of great new gear coming out, and we want to introduce to you the CR Stealth Bar. Now, this is an extension of our CRX series, basically condensed down into a soundbar format. Now, a lot of people ask us, why create CR Stealth Bar? And we say, why not? I mean, computer speakers are usually not that great. You see them all over Amazon, all over the place. You could buy these things. They may have cool lights in them or cool designs, but the sound quality is not really there. And Mackie's been, at this for over 30 years now, 30 years and running, started out with audio mixers back in 1989 with the LM1602 line mixers. So all you audio gearheads out there probably know what I'm talking about. But we have over 20 years of experience in creating transducer projects, and we have the largest user base with over 1.5 million units sold worldwide with our SRM 450 box. So we took that same mindset, technology, and experience and expertise and brought that into the studio monitor realm. And CRX is our #1 selling studio monitor. But people usually don't, sometimes working from home, doing school from home, you don't have a lot of space on your desk. You may be crammed into a corner. You don't have speaker stands. You don't want cables running all over the place. And that's where CR Stealth Bar comes in. Usually your desktop space is limited. Well, CR Stealth Bar just fits right under your monitor station. Comes with 2 adjustable feet. You could take them off if you'd like to lay it flush down on your table. But we've got an 8mm height adjustment and 16mm with the included foot pegs that come with it that are that you could take on and off. It's big sound for small spaces, essentially. It's compact. Desktop design fits perfectly under most monitors. Really clean look and that great Mackie sound that you've known to come and love. And that's what we're offering in the CR Stealth Bar. It's a dual 3-inch woofer into this format. You got a headphone connection on there. You've got Bluetooth connection, volume control right on the front. We've got 3 DSP voicing modes, so 3 sound enhancing presets for game, music, and speech. And then we've got different input sources that you can use. We have a USB audio interface built into the speaker. You've got your traditional aux input, 3.5mm, and the Bluetooth streaming capability. So you could pick, choose what you want to use. And it's very simple connection, less mess. Just plug it in, power it on. You can either hook it up to your computer, like I said, with the audio interface, the aux input. And we also have an additional output on here, which is great to pair up with our CR8S subwoofer. So if you want a little more low-end extension, definitely look into that. And that's a great add-on. So it's the perfect fit, and it's coming in at only $99. So we sell a whole bunch of the CR3X speakers. So we know you guys are going to do really good with these, especially for the holidays. This should be a great option, work from home, school from home, content creation. You're looking for an enhanced sound better than your laptop speakers, and really going to elevate you with the CR Stealth Bar. Now, this is our next product that we're introducing that, like we said, we're just waiting for these cargo shipments to get in here. But these are on the boat now, and this Mackie's finally gone wireless, and this is the Element Wave wireless microphone system. So we have two right now currently in the lineup. You've got Wave Lav, and then you have Wave XLR. So Wave Lab has its own built-in microphone on the transmitter itself, but we also include an additional lavalier with it. If you like, if you don't want to clip the block onto your shirt, you can use the additional lab that we offer that will bypass the internal microphone on the transmitter itself, and super easy to use and easy to set up. So this is kind of what it looks like with the additional lab that we include with it. It's going to have its own molded carrying case, all the cables that you need, connect it right to a phone, clips to your shirts, belts, cameras, and more. So really connect to any device, small size, big sound. And the Wave XLR system, you've got your standard traditional XLR jack. So that microphone that Zach was using in the beginning, the EM89D dynamic microphone, is perfect for that. Just plug in your dynamic mic. It won't work with a condenser. You've got a mute option here. You've got that LED that basically shows when you're pairing, when it's connected, and can also show battery life as well. So there's a lot of different things that this thing will do for you. Very simple to use. You've got your pairing button. Just hold it down for 3 seconds and it will pair. It should already be paired coming out of the box, but if not, it's quick and easy to set up. You can run about 6 of these guys at the same time. Now, these are some of the accessories that we include. Here's the molded case that we include in it. All the cables from TRS to TRRS, so you can use it with cell phones, your standard aux inputs, and then the lab system will come with the windscreen and then that additional lavalier that we were talking about. Now, Mackie came out with our Element series with our USB microphones in 2019, and it's quickly become our #4 product line in less than 3 years. And we've basically been building on that, and people have been looking for wireless mics, and they're finally here. One of the big things that's going to separate us from the competition, you've probably seen a lot of these digital wireless systems out here. This is digital wireless 2.4 gigahertz. Is the variable gain output. So we have 25 dBs of incremental gain. So what's that good for? You've got basically 5 steps of 5 dBs, either of boost or cut with the incremental gain adjustment. So it's perfect for using it with cameras or DSLRs that only have mic inputs. Some of the other systems out there are only a set level, a line level, and leads to distortion when using it with cameras or other problems like that. Well, we've got this incremental gain set up so you can either adjust it from a mic level all the way down, all the way up to a line level signal. So you can use it with a mixer, cameras, any input source that you want to use it with, your phone, and it comes with all the cables and everything that you need to make it happen. So more accessories, adapters included than any of the leading competitors. So that's important. And it's a party. You can use up to 6 of these systems at the same time. So that's awesome. You can mix and match. Each transmitter will need its own receiver. It comes with the charging cables, of course, USB-C, dual. Just need a wall wart and you're ready to rock and roll. So that's Element Wave, and you should be getting those anytime now. So those are coming in at $199 each for the entire system. So you've got your lab or your XLR system. So if you wanted to use 6 of them, you'd purchase 6, and that's where you'd be at. But it's wireless without the hassle. So definitely check those out. And it's going to be great for the content creators, podcasts, mobile journalism, even out there with your cell phones. Just plug right in and you're ready to go. Now, last but not least is the Thump Go. People have been asking for it, and we finally delivered. This is an 8-inch portable battery-powered loudspeaker. You've got basically all of your features right here on the back panel that you can be adjusted from a push of a button, and it sounds amazing, of course. You've got music ducking features, feedback elimination. So using it for presentations, I can have music playing through. I could turn music ducking on. It will lower the music for me. Feedback elimination, I could throw the microphone right into the horn of the speaker. If feedback starts to happen, it will pull those frequencies out. So that's also good. You've got voicing modes in here, 4 different voicing modes, music, live, speech mode again, and then sub mode if you're using it with a subwoofer. So all these cool techs and features are all built into the speaker itself. And the big thing is that we've got wireless control via the Thump Connect 2 app. So all your volume control, mute, your modes that you use. We also have outdoor and indoor mode, which is great. So if you're using it inside or outside, you can turn that on and it will actually, like for outside mode, it will throw the high frequencies further. So that way you can get that sound out further to the audience. Really light, powerful. It's up to 12 hours of battery life on this guy, and everything can be controlled wirelessly through the app. You can link 2 of these speakers together and it's all battery operated. So yeah, 12 hours of battery life, like I just said, super light. I believe it's around 17 pounds. It comes with the lithium ion rechargeable battery in the speaker. And of course you could purchase an additional battery if you like, just to have an extra one on hand. And indoor, outdoor modes, and anywhere in between. Thump Go can go anywhere you're ready to go, and it's ready to rock when you are. So again, this is perfect for the busking musicians, small pubs, weddings, DJs, business events, again, content creation, all these different things that you could be using it for out in the field. It's a great little speaker, and it's priced competitively, and we really think it's going to do well with you guys. It's coming in at $399. So take your stage anywhere with Thump Go. And at this time, I can open up the floor to any questions, or if anyone has any comments, we can do that.
Let's take a look and see if we've got any questions here, my friend.
Okay.
Don't be bashful, folks. All right, Brad. I'm not seeing anything here in the chat, my friend. I just want to personally thank you and Zach for the time and the support as always, my friend. I really do appreciate both of you very much.
Great. Anytime, we're
guys.
happy to do so. We appreciate it, and let's all have a great Q4.
Absolutely. Amen, gentlemen. Best to you and your families. Thank you so much.
You too.
Thank you, Eugene.
All right, on deck, folks, we have our partners from the east of us here in New England, Mr. John Bruner and Dave Curran with Bose Professional. Gentlemen, the floor is yours.
Thank you so much. Just if you can confirm, Gino, you see the screen.
In all its glory and wonder, sir. Yes, sir.
Beautiful. Excellent. Thank you so much. All right. So welcome, everybody. My name is John Brunner, and I'm with Bose Professional. Dave, I'll let you introduce yourself as well.
Great. Thanks, John. So my name is Dave Curran. I'm a distribution account manager here at Bose Professional, and I am lucky enough to have the job of managing our relationship with TMP. So I'll be your main point of contact if you need anything, have any questions about Bose Pro.
Great. So let's go ahead and get started. What we're going to cover today is a quick review of our new L1 Pro series, which was released a little bit earlier, but still fresh, brand new. Lots of innovation there. A new addition to our Design Max speaker line, which were the pendant speakers, and then finally just a touch on our AM modules at the end. So this is going to be pretty quick. So let's go ahead and get started. This video will give you an initial introduction to the L1 Pro family. So hopefully this plays and comes across well. And it looks like, I think because we're presenting on Zoom, that the audio is not coming through.
Correct. All right, John, great.
Imagine some fun music.
Yes, picture the aura.
Yeah, the music, by the way, would be appropriate for an NFL Sunday
Yes.
game lead-in.
Yes.
So,
Indeed.
very nice. Very nice.
For sure.
So what you're seeing are 3 different new models, the 8, the 16, and the 32, with additionally 2 new subwoofers as well. So once this is wrapped up, we'll go through a little bit about each one.
All right.
So moving on with the L1 Pro family here was completely re-engineered and rethought before it was introduced. And there are a couple key things in mind. Number one, the products really had legendary performance, but we wanted to improve that even more. And time has gone by that we were able to do that and accomplish some really good re-engineering. The second was to really improve the bass output, but also keep this something that's very light and portable. And third is to add the functionality of the onboard mixer in concert with the Bose Pro Mix app, meaning that you have a digital mixer built into the unit, but also downloading an app for your smart device, you can control that with your phone or your tablet, which adds a lot of flexibility. And the addition of the two new subwoofers there. One of the things that you'll notice about these, and you probably saw in the video, is the addition of something called the racetrack woofer. And the racetrack woofer is essentially an oval shaped woofer as opposed to a round woofer, which is traditionally what you see. And by going to that oval configuration, we could make the boxes a little more narrow and thin and a little more portable, but also increase the bass output in every dimension in terms of the 8, the 16, and the sub 1 and the sub 2. So not only do you get more bass, it is easier to carry and easier to maneuver. So ultimately, a lot of improvements have been made. And much like the previous family, you have 3 versions here. So the L8 Pro replaced the L1 Compact. And so that one was pretty dramatic. In the top end of the unit, there are 8 drivers as opposed to 6 and a larger woofer. The Pro 16 replaced the L1, and then the 32 replaced the top end model. But again, if you've had a chance to hear these or read any online reviews, performance has stepped up dramatically. Overall functionality has increased and much easier to carry. So a lot to be happy with there. And this, certainly not going to read this, but just to reinforce a few things: improve performance, increase bass without the bulk. You have an onboard mixer and that wireless control. And probably the coolest thing I think about all this is that with the wireless interface, you can now step into the room or into your playing venue and actually dial it in from the floor. It's kind of hard to do when you're on stage and you're making adjustments and somebody's communicating back and forth. Now you can essentially step out on the floor, hear it live in the space, and get everything dialed in. So just another really, really nice benefit of the new design. So that is the L1 Pro Family Edition. We're now going to talk about the Design Max family here. So Design Max is a line of speakers, installed speakers in ceiling and surface mount. And what we've been able to introduce now, is the pendant model. And in these spaces that you'll see here, these are all appropriate for pendant mount speakers. I think I read recently where as much as 30 to 35% of venues being built today have this open ceiling. So that's a great opportunity for pendant speakers. And so we now have some solutions that will allow you to go into that space. And the Design Max pendants come in basically 4 different forms: the 3, the 5, the 6, and the sub. And that number 3, 5, and 6 refer to the woofer size. So these are all coax speakers, the 3, 5, and 6, with the 10 being the subwoofer, obviously just that being a woofer in that model. So let's take a look at some of the features and benefits here. So they all have they're all voice matched to the rest of the Design Max line. So if you have an application where you're using some surface or in ceiling, the pendant speakers are voice matched to the rest of the line. So it sounds consistent as a family. There is a rotatable grille, single point of suspension with safety tab, the rear cavity to hide the hardware and cabling, and they are available in black or white and can be painted. So if you look at basically the mechanics of it, it's pretty straightforward. There's a Euro block connector, a tap setting with different taps and 70 or 100 volt and an 8 ohm bypass. And then you have the suspension tabs, which you attach to on the back of that. So we'll skip through this. So the different models, just to walk you through this in a real world example, let's pretend you had a restaurant and how each of these could be used. So the Design Max 3P is designed as a background music to light moderate level output. So you might use these in the restrooms, you might use these in the waiting area in the hostess stand, completely appropriate for that. Again, it's mainly a background to light moderate speaker. And then when you need to step up, let's say, for example, in the dining area, you could use the DM5P, which has a little more output and more bass as well. So this is where you want to add a little more performance, a little more weight and feel to the music, but it's definitely not the feature of that experience. That's where you could go to the 5P. The 6P is going to be more of a foreground speaker. This again plays a little deeper, plays louder. This might be used in the bar where music is more the feature and you really want that presence to be heard and felt. And that's where you can deploy the 6P. And then you also have a subwoofer here. And the sub can be used to, supplement any of those other speakers, the 3, the 5, or the 6. This is not designed to just be used in a Bose system. For example, if you wanted to add a pendant sub to a pre-existing system or someone else's products, you can use the 10P as well. And again, all these speakers, 70 volt, 100 volt, or 8 ohm bypass. We also have something called the dispersion alignment system. I'll just try and explain this quickly. Basically, this aligns the coverage output of the woofer and the tweeter such that they are consistent. What does that really mean? It means that if you hung a Design Max speaker in a commercial space and you were on axis or off axis or moved between those two, the tonality is going to be consistent. When you don't have those in alignment and you get off axis, sometimes you can hear, one driver component more than another. So this just ensures a very, very consistent performance throughout the space, and that's ultimately what you're looking for in a commercial system. This video is just going to show you how these hang. This ripple cable is supplied with the unit, so you would just simply tie that off on your attachment point, wire it up, plug it in, hang it, and away you go. So nothing esoteric about this. This is very simple, very easy to hang and utilize. And again, that cable does come with the speaker. Okay, so for there are situations where you do need to run your wire through conduit, there is a conduit adapter available. That's exactly what you see here. That conduit plugs into this adapter. The wire will come out of that hole, and basically pretty straightforward. If for your installation you prefer to use threaded rod, we do have the threaded rod adapter as well. And just to kind of summarize the Design Max family, I like to call this the golden square, in that for most typical distributed audio applications, everything that you see here will do about 85% of those jobs, from background to moderate to foreground, from budget systems to, typical system to high performance system. You've got your products within this square here. You just need to choose your form factor, surface mount, ceiling mount, or pendant mount. And again, these are all voice mesh with each other, so they'll work well together. Those that are outlined by the box here are also available as outdoor speakers. So the surface mounts are all indoor, outdoor, and then the largest pendant mount can be used outdoor as well. We also have subwoofers in surface, ceiling, and pendant. We also have a low profile model that's under 4 inches, and that's for low clearance, but that's a nice problem solver. And then we also have some high output here devices in a surface and flush, which feature our compression driver. So If you have, you know, a situation again where you need very, very high output, we've got those. But this is the Design Max family, and very flexible, scalable, allows you to do a lot of things within this one group of speakers. Okay, so now we're going to take a look at our AMM multi-purpose speakers. So this is a line of very versatile point and shoot, high output compact loudspeakers. There are two full range coaxial loudspeakers, those that you see on the far left and far right, with an 8 and 12-inch woofer. There's also a single compact 15-inch subwoofer, which is the one in the middle. And of the two full range devices, those have beam width matching waveguides inside there. So similar to the Design Max pendants, where whether you're on or off axis, there's consistent tonality throughout the space. So these can be used as mains, monitors, fill speaker, standalone PA. They can also be used to supplement arena match utility and show match speakers, and ultimately are available for permanent or temporary install. So this is the lineup again here: the 108, the 112, and then the 115. So these would be just some examples that you see. They can be mounted, pole mounted, you know, used as monitors. So again, all that you've seen here is going to be on pro.bose.com if you'd like a little more information. But with that, that takes us through our walkthrough. So Gino, I'll turn it back over to you.
Thank you, John, and thank you, Dave. Really do appreciate the time and the support as always, gentlemen. Wonderful products. Thank you so much.
Okay. Thank you, Gino.
Yes, sir. Next on deck, we've got our dear friends to the northwest up at Audix. We got David and Stephen and Lofty joining us today from Audix. So, gentlemen, the floor is yours.
All right. Thank you very much for taking the time to join in us today. We're just going to listen to some of our conferencing microphones. So I'll explain really quickly what we got going on here. This is a very typical conference space that we see out there. It's 20 feet deep, 12 feet wide, a 9.5 foot drop tile ceiling. And in that ceiling, I've essentially installed one of each of our microphones. And you are listening right now to the M3, which is our 3-element microphone. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to share a little graphic that we put together that kind of just shows what's going on here. And so what we got going on here is you see the real-time analyzer showing the full frequency signal that you are actually listening to. On this screen here, I can actually listen to the far side. And I do that when folks commissioning or setting up their rooms, we can compare a microphone, a like microphone signal to each other and give some advice as to how to set up. Additionally, you see some red and yellow here. I'm not doing anything to the signal of these microphones. They are Dante enabled, so they are converted to Dante in the ceiling and sent to my DSP. And I'm only gating. I'm not doing any auto mixing or EQ or anything like that. So with that, we're listening to the M3 right now. My wonderful assistant Steve will visit with you a second, walk around the table a bit.
Hello, hello, hello. The music people, the most premier, top-notch distributor in North America. Look at that. There we go. 1, 2, 3.
So what we're picking up here on the M3 is actually kind of remarkable in that it's a single microphone with 3 discrete elements. And this is a microphone that really, in a room like this, it's the only microphone required. It's the only one we're using currently. It's trimmed about a foot below the ceiling, so roughly about 8 feet. We do recommend 8 to 10 feet for that microphone. And that'll get you a 15 to 20 foot area that you can pick up just as good as you're hearing me now. So that's the M3. It's available in 4 different models, 2 Dante versions, one in white, one in gray, and then 2 analog versions, white and gray respectively. And that's the M3. So we'll move on to the M70. Now, this is a surface mount microphone. It's about a foot further away from Steve and I, but as you can hear, it covers this table rather nicely. It does have LED capability, so there can be a green or red LED when you use the Dante systems for this. It has a aimable cardioid capsule in it. You can aim the capsule about 40 degrees in any direction. And just to note, we just simply have it pointed straight down at the center of the table here. And for reference, the table's 8 feet long, 4 feet wide. So that is the M70 surface mount microphone, really discreet in drop tile ceiling or any ceiling for that matter. And this is one of our best selling microphones for sure. It does have a close sibling, and I just selected it here. This is the M55. Think of this as the same microphone as the M70. You can't really see it in the picture there, but it also has red or green LEDs. This microphone comes in handy when your ceiling height goes a little outside of that 10 to 12 feet. This is simply a microphone that you drop back down to that 8 to 10 feet that we like to use these microphones in. The M55 is available in a shotgun version, a hypercardioid version, a standard cardioid, and an Omni. And just for note, do not use the Omni for conferencing, please. Okay, this next mic right here, this is kind of cool. Earlier in the presentation, I showed you some microphones directly above the table. This microphone is not at that location. As a matter of fact, it's just in front of my display. I could show you graphically. So imagine me in this chair over here, and the microphone is just in front of the display in the ceiling there. This is our M40S shotgun. This is an incredible microphone. It really comes in handy when architectural considerations force you to have the microphone a little bit further away than you would like. And to that point, I'll get up and roll back here where I have a spot. I am 18 feet from my mouth to the front of that microphone right here. And what's interesting about it is its natural attenuation. As I get closer and closer to it, I'm getting off pattern. So like here, I'm 90 degrees. However, its attenuation is allowing that the signal stays rather consistent across the whole length of this table here. So again, the M40S shotgun really comes in handy for some tricky conferencing kind of stuff, or a real simplified deployment where one microphone basically right in front of your display can cover a table exactly what you're hearing. And again, there's nothing going on. You're hearing these microphones directly to your headphones or ears, as it would be. And that is our ceiling microphones. We're gonna move to some tabletop stuff. And if we're ever allowed to, I really got to say that tabletop microphones just sound the best, period, full stop. There's no microphone in a ceiling that could really solve the three-dimensional problem that proximity to a microphone gets you. And right now, you're listening to the M63, which is a quarter hemisphere boundary microphone, which is coffee cups in the way. But this is the microphone right here. You can see it has a button on the top, and it also is enabled with red or green LEDs when you use our Dante version. The microphone has some local configuration for the button that's kind of cool. You can do push to talk or mute locally at the microphone, or as a third option, the button could be a GPIO or logic switch in your DSP. But here's the coolest feature of this microphone, and it's the pattern of pickup itself. So I'm going to start rotating the microphone away from me, and I want you all to listen to this as I get close to 90 degrees. And here I'm just going to disappear as I go 180 degrees away from me. You can see I'm still holding on to the microphone. It is literally an arm's length away, but all you're hearing is the reflections of the room. So what does that mean for you? This is a microphone that if you deployed it on a table, Steve could be typing away. He could be making noise, shuffling paper, and you probably wouldn't hear it at all. The backside rejection of this microphone is best in class by far. There are two versions of the M63 boundary microphone. One that you see here with the cord coming out the back, and another one that simply just the cord comes out the bottom for a permanent installation. So again, that's the M63 boundary microphone. This next microphone has a fun story. A consultant approached us to construct a indestructible gooseneck microphone for the purpose of full contact politics in the New York State Assembly. Pretty big challenge that the gooseneck microphones, as we know them traditionally, if they get handled every day, all day, they tend to lose their ability to stay in place. And they have innumerable failures over time. Not this one. So this M65, I'm going to zoom in on it so you can get a better look. This guy here is a solid steel or a steel tube shaft with this pivot swivel system that allows you to freely move the microphone around rather quietly. It will never lose the friction that it has in it. As you can hear, it's an excellent sounding microphone. It's rather forgiving in that I can back off of the microphone quite a bit and it picks up just fine. It has this really cool gunmetal finish, very appropriate in stained wood, antique settings, as well as modern contemporary as well. It's one of our most popular gooseneck microphones for sure, in that it's just an indestructible gooseneck and it will pretty much last forever. And that is the M65. Lastly, right center of the table here, those two little pucks you see, those are our oops, not that one. Oops, that one. Those are our M60s. Essentially think of these as the same thing as the M63 hemisphere or quarter hemisphere microphone. These are just pared down with no features other than the microphone itself. As you can see, I have just two on the table here, and it covers it quite nicely. It's at least 4 feet away from me in the center of the table there, and you can hear it beautifully. So with that, we've listened to the various microphones. I just want to show you a couple of things behind the curtain per se, and that will be just show you a little bit about the DSP file here. We talked about Audix microphones being not necessarily needing any EQ, and I just want to show this to you to show you that we're live here. You see the 3 channels of the M3, and I have just switched us back to the M3. We're listening to it now. And to prove our point, I just want to share with you that all these EQs, although that signal is live, these are all bypassed. And the reason they're bypassed is our microphones are tuned for maximum vocal intelligibility out of the box. So some of you might be familiar with our live stage and performance microphones, for example, our D6 kick drum microphone. The reason that microphone is highly popular is that it is tuned specifically for kick drum, and it performs excellent in that kick drum. So that very same philosophy when you have a good understanding of the human voice, makes for a great microphone that you can actually tune the microphone to enhance the human voice right out of the box. So that's kind of why our microphones really find themselves in a number of conference rooms. It makes the installation and commissioning that much easier. And it's a very important point, because in conferencing, we don't want to hear the room. We don't want to hear air conditioning. We don't want to hear people shuffling paper. We just want to hear the human voice. And these microphones are highly optimized for that. Now, we have one more microphone to show you. And Lofty has the USB 12 hooked up at his desk, and he'll run you through that real quick.
Hi, gang. So yeah, here we go. Let's say you don't have a conference room or a boardroom that you're trying to mic up. Let's say all your participants are remote, and we have a great plug and play solution here. Most USB microphones tend to look like they belong in a recording studio or in a Jetsons movie. Ours is all business. It's a gooseneck style with a simple switch on it that you can set to momentary or to latching. And I can kick back with this thing. This thing is an arm's length away from me. So unlike a lot of USB microphones where you have to be right up on top of them, this thing gives you the flexibility to just put it on your desktop, forget about it, speak like there's nothing there. All right, guys.
Lofty, you need to hold it up and show the front and back of it a little bit there.
Let's do that.
Since it was out of the screenshot there.
There it is.
There it is, gang.
All right. And you can't see the base there, but it has a base with the USB output and also a 3.5 millimeter tip ring sleeve out, which will drive a set of headphones, set of powered speakers, whatever it is that you might need. And plug and play driver on Windows and class compliant on Mac. Picks it right up.
Excellent. Yeah. Excellent. And with that, guys, if there are any questions, we're not really big on PowerPoints or anything like that. It's just keep it simple and easy here. So if there's any questions or anything, let us know.
I think we are good, David. Don't see anything in the chat or anything. Gentlemen, thank you so much, as always, for the support. We really do appreciate you taking some time out of your day and sharing your great products with us. We really do.
Awesome. Anytime.
Awesome. Thank you. And rounding out our sessions today, everybody, are our friends from Symetrix, Mr. Dan and Mr. Paul. Dan, the floor is yours, sir.
Thank you very much. Thanks for having us here today, guys. We're going to take a look at some new products, as well as a quick overview of some existing products. Symetrix started out as a company making recording studio products and broadcast products. So part of the Symetrix ethos has always been quality. Quality is the goal, not quantity, not number of sales, but the quality of the audio gear. We try to stick with that even going into the digital signal processing area, where it's really easy to make cheap gear, but it's a heck of a lot more fun to make good gear. One of the things I want to touch on real quick here, we have several different families of DSP products, but that's kind of illusory because they all work together. So I want to just run through them real quick for you. Jupiter is our selectable fixed architecture, and fixed architecture devices are cool. It's always neat when somebody comes out with a new device, but it seems like so often you find out, oh, okay, well, that's a speaker processor. I need a multi-zone paging system or whatever the case might be. And Jupiter is cool because it's a fixed architecture device where you select from, I believe it's 84 different fixed architectures. So while you can't change the actual programming, you can select which programming it's running. So that's a cool processor. Moving up, we go to Solus. Solus NX is the device you want to use if you just need a single DSP. It's a standalone processor, no digital network audio. Going up to Prism, that is a similar processor, but adds in Dante. Radius NX has optional AAC cards you can add. It also has USB audio, the ability to play back and record audio over USB, a lot of additional cool features. And then Edge, Symetrix Edge, is the first open architecture DSP with Dante. Now, there's lots of them out there, but Edge was the very first one with Dante. In fact, Symetrix was one of the very first Dante licensees. These last 4 devices come in a bunch of different variations of channel count. And so we actually have a huge number of different DSPs to select from. So you can get and pay for just the thing you need. There's no point in paying for 16 channels of IO when you really just need a 2x4 plus a bunch of Dante. The important thing to remember is that with the exception of Jupiter, these 4 families are all complete mix and match. They're all programmed by Composer. They can all coexist in the same site file. You don't have to pick out just all Prism or all Radius to do a project. You can mix and match them as needed. Especially Edge can be really useful because it is card-based and you've got 8 different cards to choose from. So if you're in a situation where, oh man, I need one set of digital IO, or I just need an extra USB port, or I need to add this to the project, Edge can really help solve those problems for you. But let's talk about remotes because we have a bunch of fun stuff. There's 3 different families of remotes from Symetrix: T-Series, W-Series, and ARCs. The ARCs are the traditional 485 based remotes that plug directly in the back of the DSP. Every Symetrix DSP has ARC ports on it. You can plug those in, they daisy chain just like you'd expect them to. Very flexible and simple to program. There is also a virtual version of the ARC controls called ARC Web. If you don't know about it, it's definitely worth checking out because it's free. It's built into every DSP. And if you've got a customer, especially restaurant owners and managers love these, where they can whip their iPhone or their Android out of the pocket, turn the volume up, turn the volume down, whatever, and it doesn't cost anything to you. As far as programming it programs just like the actual ARC controllers do. And I'd be kind of impressed if you can find a way to spend a full 5 minutes programming ARC Web. It's just so quick and easy. Here's your source, here's your volume, we're off to the races. You want to go a little more complex, we have the W-Series, which is IP-based remotes. The W-Series is a PoE device. There's 4 different form factors. The OLED does support multiple fonts. So not only can you do like Chinese language or all the accent characters for Spanish and French and that sort of thing, you can also load up fonts like Webdings and Wingdings, the ones that all have the little images instead of characters, and do pretty much anything on the displays. There's got to be a font out there that won't work, but I haven't found it yet, and I've played with a bunch of them. The W-Series is available in any color you want, as long as you want white or black. Those are your options there. We also have the T-Series remotes. T-Series started out with the T5 and then the T5 glass. Both of those are still available. They're identical displays, just different form factors. Other than that, they're exactly the same. They're both a 5-inch display, completely customizable GUI with SimView. They're both PoE devices, not PoE Plus, just PoE. And they both use the same optional desk stand. The new big boy on the list is the T10 glass. T10 glass is a 10-inch, 1920 by 1200. It's a little bit taller than 1920 by 1080, so you can take that bottom 10% and use that for navigation and still have a full 1920 by 1080 above it if you want to. The brightness on it is nuts. It's in quote normal conference room, it's really too bright at full brightness. But then when you put it in a location where you've got bright sunlight hitting it or bright sunlight flooding the room, it's amazing. You can see everything. It's crystal clear, still bright, vivid colors. It's really fantastic in those environments. That is a PoE Plus device, not PoE. So be aware of that. And it is 10-figure multi-touch. So if you want to go crazy with all your faders on the screen, it all works. Talk about I/O for a minute. We released the XAO Bluetooth about a year ago. That was kind of right in the middle of the pandemic, so you may or may not have caught that when it came out. XAO Bluetooth is a single gang Dante Bluetooth endpoint. Very cool device. You can use it for media playback, or you can actually use it with a phone as a teleconferencing connection. So you could connect to like a Zoom meeting with your phone and have the XAO Bluetooth connected to the DSP for you. I will want to point one thing out. The XAO Bluetooth does implement pin code security. So you have to have a PIN code to pair with it. But everybody needs to be aware that any current generation or current operating system, iPhone, all the current Android versions, all of those, when you pair with something, the phone automatically tries PIN code 0000 when it's asked for a code, and it never prompts the user unless 0000 doesn't work. So while there is no way to disable PIN code security, if you just leave it set at the default 000, then it's as if you have no security enabled. So it's up to you whether you want to use it in an education environment, in a public space like a gym or a restaurant. It's very convenient to not have the general public be able to just walk up and pair to the device, but you don't actually have to use it. Another new product, the XAO Bluetooth, has got a new brother in the line, the XAO Bluetooth RCA 3.5. That's going to give you all the functionality of XAO Bluetooth. It's a 2-gang unit instead of a single, and it adds in RCA ins and outs and 3.5 millimeter ins and outs. And the RCA 3.5, we kind of did a reverse value engineering pass on this thing when we were designing it. We went through and went, okay, what can we do to make this a little better without spending huge amounts of money? What can we do to not drive the price up but make it a better product? And some of the things were like, can we do legitimate gold-plated RCA jacks? Well, it turns out, yeah, for, I don't remember, 75 cents or something. Absolutely. So yeah, why not? The input configurations you'll find are more flexible than some of the other products on the market. You've got, basically there's 4 Dante signals coming out of this device going to the network, and 2 of them are used by the Bluetooth side, 2 of them are available to the analog side. So you can configure whether those 2 channels are RCA left, right, 3.5 left, right. You can combine them so the left is both RCA and 3.5 and so is right. Or you can put both the RCA on channel 3 and both 3.5 on channel 4, whatever crazy combination you want to do. So you can really make it work in whatever way you want to for your project. Talk about software. Composer 8.1 is coming out to support the T10 glass and the Bluetooth RCA 3.5. It also adds HTTP API for intelligent modules. We'll talk about intelligent modules here in just a minute. But for anybody who's used Composer or specifically SimView previously, it's important to note that because of the T10 glass, we had to make a bunch of changes in the way SimView handles objects. And they're all amazingly cool improvements. Everything scales up much better and becomes much larger if needed. The way that the actual numeric scales next to faders and meters are handled is different now. You can change the color, you can change the font over a much broader range. So there's some really cool additions that you might not realize are in there right away. Let's take a look at it. So if you have some familiarity with SimView, it's different than you expect. If you don't, dive in. It's a lot of fun to play with. I mentioned the HTTP API for intelligent modules. An intelligent module in Symetrix is a Lua script that's been encapsulated for the DSP to run. There's 2 types. One type is an intelligent module that lets the Symetrix DSP communicate, control, and monitor some other device. Could be an amplifier, could be a media player, could be a lighting system or a set of drapes, whatever the case might be. The other type is a straight logic intelligent module. It doesn't control a device, but it performs some function, whether that's tallying votes or determining who's allowed to speak next, unmuting mics, camera following, that sort of thing. So of those 2 types, the HTTP API is used by the first one for controlling additional devices. And it really opens up a lot of maybe non-professional is one way to put it gear. The HTTP API lets us get into things like the Roku and the Sonos player and a lot of media players. A lot of smaller show control systems use HTTP APIs. So it really helps out with making it a little more universal. Symetrix Professional Services. We have just 3 months ago, started an application engineering department at Symetrix. I am a principal apps engineer and run the department. And application engineers are there for you for all of your pre-sales questions. If you've got a rack somewhere that the building flooded and a bunch of DSPs were underwater for 3 days, that I can't fix for you. That sort of thing still has to go to tech support. But if you're trying to figure out how do I make this work with this weird brand of amplifier nobody's ever heard of before, or how do I interface this with a lighting rig or things like that, that's exactly what the apps engineers are there for. We also do system planning and verification. So if you've got a design, you want to run it past us and say, hey, did I miss something? Does this make sense? Is this going to actually do what I think it's going to do? Then that's your correct solution there. Give us a call. There are 3 of us. I'm in Charlotte. Scott Woolley is out in Salt Lake City, and Quinn Claren is in Seattle. We're not tied geographically. It'll be easier to get a hold of me in the morning, obviously, because they're still in bed. After 5 p.m. East Coast time, you can get a hold of those guys. You can talk to any of them. We're also offering Symetrix professional services, which are all fee-based services, such as custom site file programming, creating custom intelligent modules. If you've got some weird device that nobody's ever controlled before, we can write a custom module and let you interface it into the system. We also do both remote and on-site commissioning services. So if you just want to make sure you've got that Symetrix absolute professional who knows what's going on guaranteed on your commissioning, let us know. We can set it up for you very easily. Wanted to show you, here's the crew. When you order a Symetrix device, these are the people whose hands touched it, put it in the box, packed it up, made it work, and in many cases designed the silly thing and programmed it to start with. And I'm legally required to say, follow us on social media or else I get in trouble. So that's it in a nutshell, 13 minutes. I got 2 minutes for Q&A. What can I do for you guys?
That's great. Let's see if we got anything in the chat.
Go to chat here. Where are we located? Manufacturing and engineering is on just on the north side of Seattle, a town called Mount Lake Terrace. I'm in Charlotte. Paul's in Atlanta. Scott Reggi's in Los Angeles. He's the national sales manager. Scott Woolley, as I mentioned, is in Salt Lake City. Who am I forgetting?
Don Z in Colorado.
Yeah, Don Zadanuski is in Colorado. I think that's everybody outside the building. Oh, and Alvin is in Kuala Lumpur.
Awesome.
Smart TV, absolutely. If the smart TV has an HTTP API, which many of them do, writing intelligent module is relatively straightforward. That was one of the things we're very excited about. You know, it's just like writing that module we did for the Roku. And I think, gosh, I don't think he spent a full 2 days on that, writing that module. And that included the investigation of figuring out, you know, how does this silly thing respond?
Well, gentlemen, thank you so much. No, I think we're good. Guys, thank you so much for the time. It's nice to meet you, Paul. Dan, always good to see you, sir.
Nice to see you again.
My best to you and your families, gentlemen. Thank you so much.
Thank you for the time today.
Thank you.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you. All right. Well, everybody, I want to thank you for joining us on this second booth crawl of the day. I've got some housekeeping to do here. We got some giveaways that we have. And I'm going to start with our friends from Mackie. And we have a CR Stealth Bar going to Mike Party. Bose has given us a pair of 700s, and Jonathan Cruz, you are the winner of those. Audix has given us 3 sets of headphones, and the first set is going to Galen Bay. The second set will be going to Matt Robertson, and the third set will be going to Great Dinkin. We also have 3 of the new Audix A10X earphones, and we have Josh Shepard as a winner of that. Also Zach Bauer and Corey Borden. And finally, our friends at Symetrix have given us $300 Amex gift cards. And the first one is going to go to John Fiorello. The second one will go to Brian Bottens. And the third will be going to Corey Brady. Again, everybody, we really do appreciate you taking some time out of your day. We know you're busy, and we thank you for your support. Please have a great day.